I'm Fletcher Rhoden, and this is Quotes and Quips. Today, words of wisdom from Frederick Douglass. Quotes and Quips is brought to you by my website, FletcherRhoden.com. That's where you can find a link to my Amazon.com authors page. There you can buy my books in paperback for Kindle or in audiobook format. There's also a link to my Spotify artist page. That's where you can download my albums in their various subgenres. In 2024, I had a 4-album set called Quadrilogy. And in 2025, I've got a brand new pop album called I'm Possible. So check that out. You can download those, from any site, anywhere on the internet where you like to download your favorite music. At my website, there is free music. You can get there exclusively. So check it out. Okay, Frederick Douglass tells us this. There is no struggle. Only progress. There is no struggle, only progress. Well, Frederick Douglass was an abolitionist in the antebellum era, leading up to the Civil War. The abolitionist era was, the movement, I should say, the antebellum era. The abolitionist movement was a movement predominantly led by whites. In the north of the East Coast, the colonies, the states, former colonies, the United States at that time. And there were a lot of liberals, a lot of intellectuals who were against slavery. There was always slavery, pretty much, in the United States, and there were always people who didn't like it. Even after slavery ended, there remained people on both sides. But when there was slavery, there were people who were against it, the abolitionists. And they weren't all white. Many of them were freed blacks, like Frederick Douglass. He's perhaps best known these days for being referenced by former President Donald Trump, who referenced him as if he were still alive. However, the man is long dead. But his words live on. And among those were these. There is no struggle, only progress. Well, of course, we can't take that on its face, because there is struggle. It is through struggle that progress occurs. There is no progress without struggle, in fact. Or else it's not really progress, it's stasis. Struggle is an inherent part of progress. But I'm not contradicting the man because I think that it is an easily misunderstood quote. I believe that what Frederick Douglass is telling us is that it's a matter of interpretation. If you focus on the struggle, that's what you see. If you focus on the progress, that's what you see. So the struggle, or the progress, did I say progress? The struggle is the process, and the progress is the result. See, process and progress, a little confusing. There is no struggle, he says. There is only progress. But progress is, a struggle is inherent in progress. Struggle is the process, and progress is the result. So what he's saying is, be result-oriented. Because the struggle was so great at that time that it seemed insurmountable. What he was saying is, you're not going to win. You're only going to progress. So don't look at your struggle as being in vain because you know you cannot win. You know this is not going to be a nation of, run by freed slaves. It's never going to be that. At the time was the perspective. the important thing is to keep progressing forward. That every victory counts. That ultimately progress is made in increments. And it is a journey. Progress is not arrival. Progress is a journey, and you progress. It's a verb and a noun. You have a progress. You have progress. You can progress. Struggle is part of it, but the idea is if you focus on the struggle, you may lose the progress. Even though they are part and parcel of the same thing, it depends on where you look. A lot of the quotes I research and a lot of the quotes I share are all about perspective. For example, one of them is, I forget who said this, you can't see a rainbow if you're always looking down. Seems nice, right? Makes sense. It's a matter of perspective. You'll find what you're looking for. If you're looking for the good, you'll find it. If you're looking for the bad, you'll find it. If you're projecting the evil in yourself, you'll see it in others. If you're projecting the good in yourself, you'll see it in others. It all makes a lot of sense. You can't see a rainbow if you're always looking down. So it's a matter of perspective in this instance, as it often is. Sometimes it takes the shorter, pithier quotes. So people might say, well, I do a lot of short quotes because A, they're easy to remember, and they're easy to communicate, and they make sense. And this one does too. There is no struggle. There is only progress. It reminds me of something that I heard somebody paraphrase someone else say, and I heard Jean-Paul Tremblay from the Trailer Park Boys paraphrase this from Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it was, you don't try, do. There's no try. If you try, you risk failure. If you set out to try, you could fail. If you set out to do, your odds of failure are less. Because trying implies failure, but doing implies no failure. But of course, it's the same thing. It's just a matter of how you look at it. It's a matter of perspective. Do you see yourself as doing it, or do you see yourself as trying it? Do you see yourself as struggling, or do you see yourself as progressing? A lot of it has to do with the two different mindsets, which I've discussed on this show, and I go into greater detail in my book, Tracking the Lone Wolf, The Sigma at Work, at Home, and at Play. There are two mindsets, the growth mindset and the fixed mindset. The growth mindset, in this case, would say, I'm going to progress, even if I have to struggle to do so. The fixed mindset would say, I'm going to struggle, even if I don't progress. The growth-minded person, the growth mindset, says that struggle is a part of progress. A fixed mindset is likely to say that a struggle happens independent of progress. And I think what we're looking at here is an indication that one should be of a growth mindset and not a fixed mindset. And I think that Schwarzenegger was saying the same thing. Don't try, because a person of a fixed mindset is always trying and never doing. But a person with a growth mindset can ultimately do. I'm not sure if that's as tightly correlated, though. Sometimes I do stretch out here on quotes and quips because I want to get the most out of the subject matter. But what really, really counts is the essence of the original quote. And here we have the original quote from Frederick Douglass. There is no struggle. There is only progress. And this from a man who struggled mightily and saw minimal but evident progress. If we all can be as stalwart in our own resolution as Frederick Douglass was, then maybe we can affect as much change as he managed to. And that was change that altered the complexion of the entire country, and in fact, the entire free world. Thank you, Frederick Douglass, for your work and for your words of wisdom. I thank you for watching my show, and I thank you for coming back. I'm here every other Monday at noon right here on this YouTube channel. It alternates with my new show, Fletcher Rhoden's Pet Peeves, which is also on this YouTube channel. If you want, you can watch reruns of 2004's run of Quotes and Quips right here on this YouTube channel, or my 2023 show, Tracking the Lone Wolf, which runs on its own channel, Tracking the Lone Wolf. Remember to check out my website and download my books and my music, especially my new album, I'm Possible. Enjoy all that and tune in again. Until then, bye, Mary.